The Argo football team keeps sailing through their improbable playoff run. Winners of 6 straight, they are 1 win away from the national title after exacting revenge on GSC champion West Alabama. On the court, 19th-ranked men's basketball won its 8th straight to start the season 8-0 for the first time since the 90s. Stephanie Lawrence Yelton's women's team is rolling after their 3rd straight victory with a conference opening win over Valdosta. A lot to get to on this week's Coach Shinnick Show. It starts now. Welcome into the Coach Shinnick Show. So much to get to this week, and so let's get right after it as we welcome in head coach Pete Shinnick. I'm Tommy Thrall. Thanks again for being with us. And Coach, I want to start off by saying first things first, congratulations on the win, but also it was just announced you are the Region Coach of the Year. Congratulations on that as well. Very well deserved.
No, thank you. I got a great staff, great group of players. Without them, none of this would happen. So I appreciate that.
Well, it's been a magical run, and it continued against a very, very good West Alabama team to win the region.
Well, it's been a great run, and our guys have just continued to believe and get better. And obviously, West Alabama beat us. That seemed like a long time ago. I don't think we've lost since then. But to go to their place to get it done that way just shows, just how much this team's grown, how much this team's improved, and the direction that they're headed.
We'll get into the highlights in a minute, but I want to ask you because you went into halftime down by a touchdown, and I thought Jamie on the broadcast really pointed it out, and I thought it was a great observation. He said it looks like right now West Alabama is giving us everything they've got, and it feels like we've still got more to go. Did you feel that way heading into halftime, that they had kind of floored it and you guys were just kind of easing into the gas pedal?
Yeah, I think they played a very good half, and they made us look bad in the first half. And I think some of that was us, some of that was them. I felt like, I agree with him. I felt like we had way more to give and way more that we could do. And that was really, simple talk at halftime. I was like, guys, that's not our best. If you want to win this thing, you got to go out and play your best. I'm expecting you to go out and play your best in the second half, and let's go do it. And, pretty simple.
Yeah.
Talking to the guys after the game, that's kind of what they were talking about while we as coaches were out there. They're like, hey, we can do this. We can get this done. We got to go out and, play better football.
And they did. Went out, really responded, and I thought the start of the second half was the big difference.
Most definitely. Great start, great kickoff, great 3 and out by the defense, and then Anthony Johnson's run really, got us even. And then from there, it was our game.
The way you guys came out and played defense, it's really been the difference for this team this whole stretch, and it wasn't any different against West Alabama. You shut them down for most of the second half.
Yeah, our defense is playing as good a football as they can. You look at the scoring offenses that we've gone up against, in the playoffs, and to get a shutout and now 14 points. And really, I know West Al scored and, had a chance, but, hold them to 21 or 14 for the majority of the game. That defense, they're playing very, very well.
Let's take a look at the highlights and, very stoic before the game. I like that. You guys came out ready to go, and it was a momentous day for the program. They've got some weapons, and they showed what makes them a good football team early on. Tyler Rogers with the 21-yard touchdown run. It got them on the board 7-0 early. And then it was Beaudry in a big play to A.J. Seward, 45 yards.
Yeah, great job. Mike didn't take the first read and then got out of the pocket. A.J. converted the route. And made it work, and, we're down there. And great play call right there by Jamie Deese on 3rd down, getting the ball in Anthony's hands. We kind of had him manned up one-on-one, and he took advantage of it.
They're tough to get off the field on 3rd down. They completed a big 3rd down pass there to keep the drive alive. And a few plays later, that was Bernard McGee from Satterwhite. It put them up 14-7. And then in the 3rd quarter, you talked about it. You guys really owned it defensively, and then a huge return here, 33 yards from Antoine Griffin. That was a big play, and it set up this touchdown run.
No, it really did. And, Antoine's been fantastic. I think, off of a couple of his big returns, we've found ways to score touchdowns. Anthony did it on that run right there. Great blocking by the O-line. He was really able to get to the safety and then make him miss. And then something, this team, West Al, they'd only given up 14 or 12 sacks all year. We got to them twice.
Right.
That hadn't happened.
Off the back foot on this throw.
Off the back foot, Karan Ashley, I mean, showing his speed, showing his athleticism, just bursting to find a way, just great concentration, and, now all of a sudden we're up. I mean, that was fun.
I think that play shows the growth of both of those players. And then Beaudry, this time, again, Ashley 26 yards, and again, Beaudry on the run, and again, Ashley with a physical catch.
Yeah, seeing Karan go up and make that was great. And then we felt like we had what we wanted and called a deep shot to Karan. And, I mean, great catch down the sideline, gets the ball on the 2-yard line, and Chris Schwartz just goes in and, gets us that 2-score lead, which was huge. We needed that.
You did. And then late in the fourth quarter, they kind of got a mop-up touchdown. Satterwhite found Trey Fletcher, the 10-yard strike. At that point, you're still not too concerned. All you have to do is recover the onside kick.
Yeah, not too concerned at all. A great onside kick. We should have done some things a little differently. We've talked about that to our guys. But great onside kick, great placement. But, fantastic coverage by Jalen Spencer and Jonathan Coleman right there. Knock the ball out, knock, the opportunity for them to get the first down and keep that drive. And no better way to end the game than in victory formation.
And that's a fun team to beat. I mean, it seems like they're a pretty respectable team. They're a good team, and that's just good head-to-head competition.
Well, it really was, and I mean, we've felt for the last 2 years they're the best offensive team in the conference, and to score more points than them, obviously, and to be able to run the ball and throw the ball against them, just a great win, great credit to our guys.
The offense was good, but I thought your running game, and the numbers look okay at the end of the day, but I thought some guys really took some big steps. You knew without Leroy Wilson you were going to see more of Anthony Johnson, but I also thought Chris Schwartz was much better than what we've seen him this year. He was a more patient runner, a little more disciplined back there.
No, it really was, and taking advantage. Chris unfortunately gets the brunt of some, he had a couple of plays where he gets negative yards that really aren't his fault. But other than that, he's moving forward and finding creases and finding holes. Our run game, I wouldn't say that it's, the most beautiful thing in the world, but it is very efficient.
It is. That's the goal. Well, you're one of 4 teams left playing football. We'll talk about it. You guys have Indiana, Pennsylvania coming up next in the national semifinals. We'll discuss that matchup when we come back. This is the Coach Shinnick Show on the UWF Sports Network.
We will never settle for the kiddie pool. We are destined for the vast ocean of opportunities that await us. We were born to make a splash. At the University of West Florida, you can make a discovery, make a difference, make a splash. So take a deep breath and dive in. The University of West Florida. How will you make a splash?
Being a champion takes more than talent, more than the perfect pass, more than using your head. Being a champion takes the spirit to always push harder, the ability to overcome any hurdle, and the fire to be the best. Welcome to Division II, where the pursuit is yours to create. And the question isn't, can you do it? It's, will you?
Welcome back. This week, the UWF Fieldhouse has been transformed into the site for the NCAA Division II Volleyball National Championship. The event features the regional champs from 8 regions around the country. The process is a major undertaking for the university.
We've done such a fantastic job of hosting before in the past. They actually contacted me and asked if we would consider splitting up our bid and doing it multiple years. So for us, we took the opportunity to host soccer 2 years ago. And so happens that volleyball fell into our rotation for this year.
It's great because you get a lot of people that have never been to Pensacola or to your facility before. So that's our main goal, is just to put on a really good show, make their experience, the first one, a really great time for them. And at the end of the day, these athletes are competing for a national championship. So having your hand in something to where they get a national championship out of it, a good experience for the coaches, fans, and athletes is our main goal. Pensacola
Sport, one of their main focuses is to attract folks to come back and vacation here. And I think this is a great opportunity to do that. Transforming this facility, obviously taking out the signage that we have, putting up new signage, installing a brand new floor. So this is not a small feat. So I think once we're done, our venue looks totally different than what it would, for West Florida athletic event.
Started Sunday taking stuff down, then start today putting stuff back up. As you can see, we have our men's soccer team helping us volunteer. They gave us about 15 guys to help us lay down a new court that was shipped in specifically for the volleyball championships.
The gratifying thing is just knowing that we're able to put on a fantastic championship that the student athletes will have, leaving here knowing that or feeling that this is the best championship that they've ever been to.
Things get started at the UWF Fieldhouse Thursday with the quarterfinal matches. The championship is Saturday evening. GoArgos.com has all the info. Want to welcome back in Argonaut head coach Pete Shinnick. And Coach, obviously a lot to get to as we look ahead to Indiana, Pennsylvania. It seems like everybody's reaction is the same after the win and after it was announced where you were going. Everybody check their weather app and realize that it's going to be 33 degrees at kickoff. That'll be the coldest game in Argo history. How do you deal with something like that?
You gotta get the guys prepared somehow, some way. So you do some things at practice with ice and footballs and that type of thing. But a lot of our guys haven't been on a plane, and a lot of guys have never seen snow. So this is going to be an interesting trip, to say the least. But we've talked to them about it and given them some tips, and we've kind of prepared for this. We felt like at some point in time we were going to have to take a northern trip, so we got some good gear for them and some opportunities for them to try to stay warm.
And I want to credit you for the foresight of knowing that, hey, at some point down the road we're going to play a cold weather game. We want to be ready. That a lot falls on you. How did you have the foresight to think ahead like that?
Well, unfortunately, I coached a team in Southern California, and we hosted playoff games my first couple years, and I'm like, oh, this is great. And then about my 5th year, we went to North Dakota, played the University of Mary. And I really believe the Salvation Army came to our rescue and brought blankets for our players. We got a team photo of guys, wrapped up in pink and blue and brown blankets just trying to stay warm. We were very ill-prepared. So I told myself that would never happen again. And part of last year's purchasing for me was getting overcoat jackets and underarm shirts and, that type of thing, so that we'd have, we got ski masks for them, we got leggings for them. We got all the stuff that would put you in a position where at least our guys know we're trying to keep them warm.
Right, no doubt. You talk about guys haven't been on a plane. You have a charter flight going up there on Friday, the cold weather, the snow. Oh, by the way, this is the Final Four. This is to go to the national championship. Are those other things distractions at a time like this, or you get to this point in the season, everybody's so focused on winning a football game that's just part of it, and it's not really white noise. It's just kind of easy just to focus on the game aspect.
I think if this would have been our first trip, it would probably be a little more difficult for us. And I think if we had not gone through what we've gone, that this would be, a big undertaking. But the fact that we had to go on the road at Wingate, leave on Thursday, move around, do some things like that. We've been on the road, I think, the last, 5 weeks, something like that. This is all just part of the adventure and part of this journey that we're on in 2017. So, our guys know the opponent. They're studying them. We'll do everything we can to get them prepared for the cold weather. And now they just got to go out and play the way they're capable of playing.
Your players are studying the opponents. You've already been on that. So what do you know right now about Indiana, Pennsylvania? I know that they're ranked in the top 25 in a lot of offensive and defensive categories. So what do you take from all that?
Well, yeah, I mean, they've been a top 5 team for, I think, the second half of the season, if not even longer than that. They are a very good football team, well deserving of the #1 ranking, when we re-ranked everybody. Very good on offense, run the ball as well as anybody we've seen. And then defense, just long and big and physical. Really play very good football. Kind of what you'd expect from, that area. I mean, just they look the part. They play the part. They're 13-0. Really haven't had many close games. Their playoff game against Assumption was, but I think uncharacteristically, IUP turned the ball over, 4 times, I think. Something that they don't do much. So we got our hands full. Tremendous amount of respect for that program and what they've done this year and really what their history as a program have done. They've been a pretty good program throughout the years.
They don't turn the ball over much, but they force a lot of turnovers. turnovers. What do you do to try to avoid that?
You know, we've been pretty good about not turning the ball over, other than obviously that, West Georgia game where Mike threw. I think that's one of our strengths. I think we went back to it last week. You just, in the cold, you got to hold on to the ball. You got to make sure you're secure it. They're big and physical and long and rangy, and they get to you pretty well. So we just got to be, as focused as we've ever been. And I like it because that's really what's happening with this team. Each week they get a little more focused. Each week they become a little better. Each week they find a way.
Their quarterback is mobile and he's accurate, so he is certainly a threat. Have you seen anybody like him, and have you seen any teams that kind of resemble IUP?
I don't know if we've seen a quarterback as athletic as he is. I mean, he does run and throw the ball well, and has a good arm, and does a lot of good things. We've been trying to talk about that. We're kind of saying this part fits this group, this part fits that group. They're just a very sound team. Don't make mistakes. Do a very good job in special teams. They make it hard for you to get a punt return with the way they punt. There's a reason they're undefeated, and it's evident on film.
Well, I can't wait to watch it on Saturday. It's been a fun ride, and it has been so much fun to watch how much fun you guys have been having. So many programs take things very serious, and it doesn't look like they're having fun. You guys have been having a blast the whole time, and keep it rolling, and hopefully we'll talk to you again next week preparing for Kansas City.
That'd be great. Appreciate it.
Thanks, Coach. Still a lot to get to. Stephanie Lawrence Yelton's women's basketball team is rolling with 3 straight home wins. She's here to talk about it next. This is the Coach Shinnick Show on the UWF Sports Network.
We are not here to drift. We were born to move, to change, to jump in, dive deep, make waves, break through. We were born to splash. The University of West Florida is America's best university for making a splash. The University of West Florida. How will you make a splash?
I'll be right back.
Hi. You think you're probably sober?
Yeah.
But you're thinking about taking the back roads home, just in case. If you're probably sober, then why would you do that? Good choice.
Probably okay isn't okay. If you see a warning sign, stop and call a cab, a car, or a friend.
That's a full glass of wine. I'll be chatting you later.
Welcome back into the Coach Shinnick Show as we talk about women's basketball now. And we welcome in Argonaut women's head basketball coach Stephanie Lawrence Yelton. You guys are really playing some good basketball. We've got to feel good about where you're at right now. 3 straight wins at home. This team really seems like they're firing on all cylinders right now.
Things are starting to come together for our team. We talked about making those baby steps for improvement, and I think after our Valdosta State game, we really took giant steps of improvement.
And that's what you've been wanting to do. You wanted to start to take those big steps. What was different against Valdosta?
I think just our team's focus, their intensity. I thought we had some great games of practice leading up to that game. And, again, when you have great days of practice, hopefully that's going to turn into a great game performance, and it did for us.
Well, as we take a look at how it all played out, Shami Goodman really seemed like she had a big game, but you got contributions from everybody on the floor, it felt like.
We played every player on our bench, and everyone stepped in and gave us tremendous minutes. We didn't lose a beat when we put our sub players or those players on the bench in the game, and I was just proud of our performance.
Shami Goodman ended up with 30 points, 3 of those from 3, but she was one of 4 players that was in double figures for the game. Haley Neiman, another double-digit game, but the defense was big as well. Courtney Meyer had a big game on the boards as well.
Yeah, and Chloe Branch inside. She played legitimate minutes for us because we needed her on the defensive end of the floor. Valdosta State has 2 really good all-conference post players inside the paint for them, and we just needed those big players out there.
Talk about Shami, 30 points in that game with the 3 threes.
Oh, Shami just was tremendous for us. We put her in the starting lineup after Shaniqua McGee went out with a knee injury last week, and she really took it upon herself to carry the team on her shoulders.
Courtney Meyer, that was what she she did on the boards with the 16 rebounds. She led the team there, but also her defense was good. And as you talked about, Chloe Branch, a couple of blocks as well, really gives you a big presence down low with her and Courtney both in the game.
Yeah, we were able to play a big lineup, and that helps us. We have two big bodies down there that can score, that can defend, and that can rebound. That's just hard for other teams to guard.
Shami, outstanding in that game. Great to see what she was able to do. And a fun game. And that's a big step for you guys, especially as you get into conference play. Now this team can kind of start believing in themselves, can't they?
Oh, no doubt. I mean, you know, coming into the Valdosta State game, you know, my husband and I talked that night before, and he said, I really think this team is on the verge of surprising you. And I said, well, I don't know if it's going to be a good surprise or a bad surprise. Hopefully it's a good surprise. And that's where we are now. I think our team is coming up with good surprises. We have different players that are contributing every game. Our defense is getting better and better every day. And, you know, there's good things ahead of us.
Chloe Branch, you talked about her a little bit, but it seems like she's really starting to make progress and take those strides. It can be tough for transfers. I know we've talked about it in the past, and we've talked about it with Jeff, too, on the men's side. It can take those transfers a little while, but it seems like Chloe's really starting to fit in now. Yeah,
Chloe played 3 years at Kennesaw State and working in their system, what they teach. And what we teach on offense and defense is a lot different from most traditional programs. So for her, it's a quick learning, a quick turnaround of changing habits that she's built 3 years of doing. And so for her, yeah, I think it's starting to click for her. And again, good things are ahead.
You had another big game and a final tune-up against Tuskegee, and now a couple of more conference games before you get into the holiday break. It's nice to be able to kind of get a couple more games in, but some time off in there as well. It's not a grind, I guess, these last 2 games before you get into the holiday break.
Yeah, I'm really excited that those 2 conference games are home games for us, that our home fans can come out and see our team play before that Christmas break, before we can kind of take a step back and relax. But we've got final exams coming up too, so we've got to keep that in mind as we prepare for those 2 games, that our players are going to be a little bit mentally drained, and so our preparation for those games will be a little bit different.
And when you get into a stretch like this, I mean, it is. There's a lot going on, and that's why there's the break before the break. I mean, there's a game break before the break, because there's a lot going on, and it's easy to forget that these athletes are student athletes, and the education is probably the biggest part.
Yeah, and it's the biggest 2 weeks of the semester, is the week before final exams and the week of final exams. There are papers due, there's projects due, there are final exams that carry a big weight of their final grade. So again, our players who carried a 3.0 GPA as a group last year, they really take their academics seriously, so they need that time to prepare.
You saw Valdosta. Now you'll see a couple other schools, Montevallo and West Alabama. Is it too early to get a feel for where the conference is right now?
I think it is. I think it's still too early. We've got some teams that are playing really good basketball, and then we've got some teams that have had some injuries. They've had some kids that have been out. And so, after Christmas break, I think things will start coming together for the GSC women's basketball group, and we'll kind of see teams rise to the top. But again, it's going to be a challenging season through conference play like it always is.
No doubt. Well, good luck, and we'll talk to you again next week.
Thank you, Tommy.
All right, that is Stephanie Lawrence Yelton. Jeff Burkhamer's men's team just keeps rolling after a big win over a top 20 team over the weekend. We'll recap it and look ahead next.
The world is our ocean, and we are here to make a splash, to dive deep, to create, to develop, to break through. At the University of West Florida, there's no limit to how you can make a splash. Don't just sit on shore, jump in. The University of West Florida. How will you make a splash?
It's not just a donation.
It's a warm blanket.
It's a bottle of clean water.
It's a roof and a bed.
It's knowing someone cares.
It's feeling safe.
It's a today that's better than yesterday.
Every dollar you can spare helps so much more than you can imagine. Please donate now to help people affected by Hurricane Irma. Your support is urgently needed.
Welcome back. Now we shift our attention to the other side of the hardwood and focus on men's basketball as we welcome in head coach Jeff Burkhamer. Great to be with you, and I know you're feeling good right now. Wins in your first 8 games. You guys are on fire right now.
Great start to the season. Even better start when you come out of a game with Valdosta on top.
You got 2 top 20 teams going into that game. You knew it was going to be a good game. You knew it was going to be a big game, and it was going to be a measuring stick as well. How do you feel how you guys came out?
It was a terrific game. From a fan standpoint, it should have been fun to watch. A lot of points, a lot of action, 94-foot basketball. But it really was a good game. We played well. We had to play well against a good team. 2 ranked teams. They come in as the reigning champion in the league, ranked 15th in the country. Picked to win the league again. So great win for us. A really good game for our players.
Well, you knew you had something to prove in that one, and it looked like you guys got out to a pretty good start right out of the gate. And you got contributions really from everybody. It seems like a lot of these guys, especially Rashawn Benson with a big move there, it seems like a lot of these guys are starting to find their groove and find their role on this team.
It was a really good team effort. We had a couple outstanding individual efforts, but overall, really everybody played up, everybody played well, played toward their strengths, and because of that, we had a terrific 40-minute game.
Well, you know that defense is going to be a big key on this team, but you're getting some offensive contributions as well. You scored 97 points. You're doing some things right.
That's a lot of points for us to score. We did a good job of getting the ball to the right people in the right places on the floor where they can be successful, and that's a credit to our guys' execution.
Well, it seemed like there were a lot of guys, and then Daryl Tucker, what a monster he was in that game.
Daryl has been terrific all season. Had another big game. Got great shots. I think he was 10 of 11 from the floor, made free throws, rebounded the ball, just did a lot of good things.
And there you see Motir Dang distributing the basketball and then Tucker finishing off the miss. Dang, another big game for him. 22 points, part of a double-double. It seems like he's really grown up a lot this year.
Well, our 2 post guys had great games, and Motir had his best game of the year, really matured over the summer, has played with great confidence, and just really playing well on both ends of the floor. And then you get monster dunks like that, that makes you feel pretty good with your shooting percentage.
That makes it fun to watch,
it
too,
sure
for
does.
The fans. That'll make the arena erupt in a hurry. And then another one in some traffic.
Daryl's just been outstanding. And you see Motir taking the ball to the basket. Both those guys had great games against Valdosta.
And then you were able to light it up from outside a little bit, too. That off a miss, but a nice tip back. But you guys, you know that you're not a great three-point shooting team, but you're able to get some looks from outside. And Rashawn Benson, notably, did a nice job out there for you guys.
Well, Rashawn makes plays, and he makes big shots. We did make enough shots in that game to keep him honest, make him have to play us. And when teams step up, opens up driving lanes, and also opens up our post play. But you saw in one of the clips there, Tommy, that 50-50 balls, we were really good at getting to those in this game. A lot of the hustle plays made a difference.
Well, it felt like, too, you guys controlled the offensive boards, and in order to beat a team like Valdosta, you have to get offensive rebounds.
We've been a pretty good rebounding team throughout the year, and we were a little bit bigger than them inside, and we thought that would be a key to the game, is making sure we take care of ourselves on the glass.
We saw Motir with some big plays in that game, 22 points to go along with that double-double and the 10 rebounds, helping him get Player of the Week, which was just announced this week.
Terrific honor for Motir. Definitely earned the honor. Played very well against a good team. This wasn't like a team that we're supposed to beat. This was a hard-fought conference game against a very good team. So proud of Motir and excited for him.
Daryl obviously played well for you guys last year. He has taken a step forward this year. What's been different in his game? Is it just that extra year of experience, or has he done some things and worked on some things in the offseason to get his game to another level?
Well, I think it's probably a bunch of different things. He's worked really hard this summer. I thought he had a terrific summer. He stayed here, got in the weight room, got in the gym. I think that's helped. The experience from last year of knowing what we're doing, feel more comfortable there. And he also knows this year it's on him. LeGrier's gone, Summerfield's gone. So it's on him to come in and do things to help us win. And he's been very good on the glass, and he's been very good scoring the ball.
You guys are a top 25 team now. Went into that game ranked 19th in the SID poll. You guys are playing like it. You're showing that you deserve the ranking. What does that mean to the program?
Well, I think it means we're moving in the right direction. We've done some good things to get us to there, and gives us a great launching pad to move forward. We know we've got tough games coming up. We've got 3 straight home games that we need to take care of somehow, some way. But it just, I think it gives our guys a lot of confidence to know we're doing the right things.
Some teams can kind of get complacent when they know that they've made those big steps that you guys have made in a really short period of time. For you guys, it feels like it's just more of another step in the process, and guys know that that's not the end goal. Just getting ranked isn't the goal here. It's so much more than that.
Well, there's a lot of season left. You know, we're still really, really early. We're 1-0 in the conference. We have to stay humble, stay hungry, and know that we've got a lot more to play for. Just remembering back to last year where we ended up a possession short of the NCAA tournament. We've got to make sure we take care of that. And it starts by playing game to game.
Do you feel like some of these transfers are starting to make the progress that they need to make to kind of get this team over the hump?
Well, you saw Shondell Jackson played much better the last couple games. He started to come around. Tidwell's played better the last couple games. So we do have some guys that we brought in that are giving us good minutes. Cameron has been good behind Rashawn throughout the year. So those guys are starting to fit in better, and our returning guys have played very well. So you put that together, we've had a good year so far.
Well, you guys have had a nice long stretch here at home. You're in the middle of this 4-game stretch at home. You've got another one coming up with Spring Hill. Good luck in that one. We'll talk to you next week. 9-0. How's that sound?
That'd be great. I hope we can get it done on Sunday.
All right. Sounds good. Thanks so much. Well, the NCAA Volleyball Championship is happening this week at the Field House beginning on Thursday. Then it's back to hosting basketball. As we mentioned, Spring Hill comes to town to challenge the men Sunday. That game's at 4 o'clock. Football plays at 11 Central in Indiana, Pennsylvania. That game can be heard on 97.1 The Ticket, beginning with the pregame show at 11:30. Stay up to date with all things Argos at GoArgos.com. For Jeff, Stephanie, and Pete, I'm Tommy Thrall. Thanks for watching. We'll see you again next week on the UWF Sports Network.